Welcome to A Double
Double
and Dice
with your host Kim.
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage
Pull up a comfy chair.
because we are ready to roll.
Welcome to episode 20 of A Double and Dice, and today we are going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be building some teams, and those teams are going to be affiliated teams. And Jocelyn, why are we going to be building affiliated teams?
Because affiliations are awesome, Kim.
Of course they are. There's so many of them.
But also because the Ministry of Dice is holding Dice Masters versus Cancer upcoming on November 28th, which as you hear this, if you listen to it as it comes out, will be this coming Saturday. So if you have not seen any of the affiliation games that Chris and Andy at the Ministry of Dice have been doing on their YouTube channel to prepare or to provide suggestions, I'd recommend you head over there to youtube.com/Ministry of Dice and check out some of those games. Or you could go over to CR Game Room on Twitch, where they have been building some affiliation teams on their Wednesday night streams as well. But we're going to go ahead and build a couple of affiliation teams with you guys tonight through the podcast. And just to add an extra level, so we post our podcast, of course, on our podcast platform, but we also cross-post it on YouTube. So if you are interested in checking this one out on YouTube, we are going to have a video that goes along with it going through building the team with the Dice Coalition Team Builder.
Yep. And that usually drops the same day, just a little later in the day.
Or you can listen to both.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out both. You can find the YouTube video on youtube.com/Dice Masters North, which is where we post our YouTube videos. Or just on your regular podcast platform, or both. And make sure you like and subscribe and send really awesome, reviews. We really like all of that stuff. So
We like feedback.
yeah, we love feedback. And you know what's really weird, Kim?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get any feedback after our last episode.
What did we talk about in our last episode?
We talked about a bunch of tournaments, and we talked about Dice Social, and we talked about what else did we talk about here? A lot of feedback that we had from just feedback we received from folks, and we went into a fair amount of detail about this actual event that we're talking about right now, Dice Masters versus Cancer.
And Jocelyn still needs a superhero name.
Yeah, I was really hoping to get a superhero name. The only person that sent me a superhero name was Kim.
Yeah. She came up with two, didn't she?
She did. That Kim girl, she's pretty awesome. But I'd like some more suggestions. Nothing against Kim's idea, but I'd love to hear if you have a superhero name for me. So Kim is at SuperK on Discord, and I'm at JBOUWME or JBowme. So we were deciding that we were talking about maybe making me a more superhero name. So if you've got one, send it our way, and we'll go through all the places you can find us at the end of the episode like we usually do. So we thought what we do today, to Kim's point, to support our friends over at the Ministry of Dice, and we're against cancer, we're anti-cancer here. We're going to go ahead and build some affiliation teams to hopefully inspire you into building a team and joining this great event. So the event, if you haven't heard, is on November 28th, which is a Saturday, November 28th, 2020. This is going to be held online, of course, because everything is online in the time of the COVID. And it will be starting at 6 p.m. on UK time. So that means if you are at Eastern time, like we are, Kim and I here in the Toronto area, that's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern time.
No, 1 o'clock.
No,
You said 6 o'clock, right? Minus 5?
Oh, now I'm doing weird math. So yes, so 6 o'clock. So yeah, it's 1 o'clock, which means our friends Chris and Andy need to double check their check-in times on their time zones on their website.
Yeah,
that might be because of daylight savings time, which has now ended, and that actually ended earlier in the UK than it did here in North America. Anyway, it's at 6 o'clock British time. You can go ahead and check your local time bot and figure out what time it is where you are, and that's where it's going to be. So it is a special format, and the Ministry of Dice folks are building this based on what they call their Ministry of Dice Presents Dice Masters format. It's all about having fun. Who likes to have fun, Kim?
I do.
Me too. That's why we have Dice Social, but we're going to go to this one too.
Yes.
So this is not a modern event. It is not a event that's going to have Becky's and Godcatchers. And why is that, Kim?
Because this event, your team must be built with an affiliation on their card.
And who doesn't have an affiliation?
Becky and Godcatcher.
That's right. And a lot of other things, actually. Including Super Rare Thor from the new Infinity Gauntlet.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, so there's quite a few cards that don't have an affiliation, so they're automatically eliminated from building in this format. In addition, there's a few other caveats with the format building. So it is golden, and single affiliation means all of your cards have to share the same affiliation. And you have to use the basic actions from the same intellectual property or IP as the affiliation you choose. So if you choose Justice League, you have to use basic action cards that came from the DC universe. There's a few other restrictions. There are no villains for the purposes of this event. So if you have a single affiliated villain card, it's not double affiliated with something like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants or Hellfire Club or something like that. You can't do it. So just straight old villains are not included. You cannot have any action cards as part of your core 8-character action team slots. No Batarangs, no, what else? Mjolnirs, no anything that's an action.
As they are not affiliated.
And initially there was a rule here that Dark Phoenix cards would not be permitted for use because that was supposed to release on November 25th. But if you haven't heard, release date's been pushed back a week till December 2nd. So no one will have those. Finally, they've banned about 6 additional cards. 7. Jocelyn does math. Hope Pluripotent Echopraxia, Half-Elf Bard Master Lord's Alliance, Wanty Pure Blood Epic Humanoid, Beholder Master Aberration, Hulk Green Goliath, Black Widow Serena, and Brainiac Get Inside Your Head. And why have they banned those cards, Kim?
I'm gonna guess they're pretty powerful cards.
Yeah, they're killjoys.
Yeah.
So the idea is keep it fun, keep it interesting. You want to spend your 30 minutes playing your game with your best of one round playing 45 minutes. You want to play the whole 45 minutes. That's the goal.
Yeah.
You want to enjoy your event with your friends. Friends you know and friends you haven't met yet.
So try something different. Try something you've never tried before. You know, it's all about having fun.
Yeah. So I would encourage you, I'm not going to go through the whole thing like I did in the last episode because I talked a lot about it, but you can go through to the BritRoller6.com blog, and I will link it in the show notes to the actual link for the post, and you can read all about the event that's coming up on November 28th at 6 o'clock UK time with all of the caveats for the building. Any questions you might have are there. There's some rulings there. There's also some additional achievements that you can get, which will give you entry tickets into the raffle, because all the prizing is going to be done by raffle for this event. And there was something else that I wanted to mention. Oh, the entry fee. So because this is a charity event raising money for cancer research, not for cancer, against cancer.
That's right.
We are anti-cancer. The entry fee is 10 British pounds. So if you enter when you sign up on the challenge, which it links to in the webpage over at BritRoller6.com, $10 British pounds, it'll convert it to your local currency, whatever it is. £7 go directly to the charity, and then the other 3 are for administrative costs and shipping. You can also go to the GoFundMe, which is also linked on that page, if you want to donate and you can't play, or if you just want to donate more to fight cancer. So that's the thing that we're going to build for today. So Kim.
Yes, Jocelyn.
You picked an affiliation, right?
I did, and I picked Brotherhood. So,
Brotherhood of Evil Mutants?
Of Evil Mutants. That's it. I couldn't remember the last part.
Okay. I was just making sure, because maybe there was another Brotherhood I didn't know about.
Yep, so I picked Brotherhood. They have 44 cards all together. So not a big pool.
So it's a pretty small affiliation.
Yeah. And I did count how many cards there were actual characters. Now I forgot the number. But
okay. So how did you find out there were 44 cards to choose from, Kim?
So if you go to tv.dicecoalition.com, and there is a box there that you can click on that says affiliation, and it has all the symbols or all the affiliations currently in the game. And to find an affiliation on a card, it is located on the top left. Usually it's just below the cost is where you find your affiliation. And all are listed there, and you just check mark the one you're going to be looking at or using, and it'll list all the cards with that affiliation.
Awesome. So you've gone over here to the Dice Coalition Team Builder.
Yep.
You've clicked off the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And now you know there's 44 cards, and you're going to start picking out some stuff. So how are you going to build your team, Kim?
I don't know. First, I think I'm going to take a look at these costs. Some of them are reasonable, but some of them are pretty high. So I got some 6 costs, a 7 cost, which I don't know about that one. But looks like a promo card of Magneto. And everything else seems to be pretty much under 5. And since Brotherhood fits under Marvel, I would have to use those basic actions when picking the basic
So when you build
actions.
this team, Kim, do you usually do your basic actions first, or do you do them at the end or in the middle?
It depends. I usually start without them. So I would start reading through the cards, seeing if anything I like or if anything would actually work well together. The synergy, as people say, right? If I start going through and building a team and I realize that, maybe there might be a basic action that could help me do this or help me do that, I may start switching and going looking at some basic actions. But if I don't find anything, then I continue on. So I kind of flip-flop, but not often. Usually I would leave it to the end.
So when we're looking at this right now, have you resorted this in any way, Kim?
Yes, so right above their names, if I sort by card number and I click that, card name and I click that, it lists all the characters in alphabetical order.
Awesome.
So it'll give me
And then you can
all
also
the...
sort by other stuff too, right?
Yeah,
you can sort by cost.
by the way, cost, the dice ones, which sometimes get like the dice
weird.
Yeah, attacks and defense, adding it all together. You could do it by the text, I guess. I actually never clicked on that. No, doesn't really do much.
No, it probably doesn't do much.
No.
I would sort of, especially for this, because of course we have to go by the regular Dice Masters rules, is that you can't have multiple characters with the same name.
Right.
You might as well sort it alphabetically and start from there.
Yeah, so I'll start reading through these. One is like Avalanche is one character here. Some of them he goes KO'd and he'll KO all level 1 characters. When you use a basic action, KO. So he looks like he's doing a lot of KOing of your own or your opponent. It doesn't say specifically what.
So I'm thinking about Brotherhood cards that I know about just in my head, not looking at the screen here. And there's a fair amount of control cards in this affiliation, if I remember correctly. I think we've got like the rare Blob from X-Men First Class, right? And that one, when you field him, you capture an opposing character die until Blob leaves the field zone.
No, that's he cancels. Your opponent may not purchase or field that until he leaves the field zone.
Oh, which one was I reading?
I'm not sure.
The uncommon. No,
oh, yeah. So Appetite of Destruction is the one that you name a card and they can't purchase it or field it.
Right, until Blob leaves the field zone.
Correct, yeah.
But then you have the uncommon, which is the one I just described.
That
Blob,
captures.
nothing moves the blob. That captures target opposing character die until Blob leaves the field zone. If I remember correctly, also from that X-Men First Class set, isn't Scarlet Witch in this format?
She is. She is affiliated with Brotherhood, and it's the one that Jocelyn is talking about it's actually not Be Careful, but it's Careful What You Wish For. She was a big staple back in the day. I'm going to say back in the day because she's not modern anymore. But when she's active, during your opponent's roll and re-roll step, your opponent must re-roll any action die that land on action face and cannot re-roll any action dice that lands on energy faces. So she was quite common in a lot of teams, especially when, what was that one that re-rolled everything?
Green Devil Mask?
Yes, Green Devil Mask.
Green Devil Mask Lesser Trap, that if you fielded, if you had 4 or more characters fielded and the trap was in the field, you would have to re-roll all your active character dice.
Yeah. So she was, I didn't like her, but she, I had her on my teams though when I became competitive. When she had to come out, she definitely helped. So.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that I tend to do when I build a team is I look for some control. Mm-hmm. And I think when you have sort of a limited card pool that you've built here with only 44 cards in total, the fact that you have access to control is really handy.
Now, being this format fun and stuff, I probably would not put them on my team. I would stay away from the control pieces when building this team.
Scroll down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other way you could look at this, because it's about fun, is you could just build a team with cool card names. So I've always loved the name of this card. I don't know what it does, so let's find out.
Okay.
Magneto, X-Chicken. So it's a 6-cost mask, and it's a rare from X-Men First Class, and it says, while he's active, when your opponent fields a character die, spin it down 1 level. That actually is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Also very control-y. We have not found a WinCon yet.
Yeah. So you would have to, if you're going to pick him as a card, you would have to look at some other cards that would benefit if you spun down. That would help you. Because I'm looking at a lot of these cards, like Blob, majority of Blob, he does capturing. Majority of all his cards are capturing. Looks like a lot of them are giving +1, +1, +2, +2. Oh, I didn't know.
There's something with Overcrush.
Yeah, I love me some Overcrush. I was just going to say Lady Deathstrike. I've actually never played with her card.
Well, we can tell you why.
And why would that be, Jocelyn?
Because she's a 6-cost fist, and you can get it better with Becky Lynch.
Wait, there's a 5. She got 2 5s, but yeah, her Overcrush is
But I'm
6.
looking at the Overcrush one.
Yeah.
So what's the Overcrush one called, Kim?
That one's called Honor Bound.
No, you gotta go down one.
Sorry, Bad to the Bone.
Bad to the bone.
And she does also, when Lady Death damages an opponent, gain a life, so...
So that's kind of cool. So for a 6-cost, she's got some cool things. And then what's her stat line look like, Kim?
She is... Oh, because I clicked the picture now. I can go here. So 4-2, 5-3, 7-4. So if you get her on our top levels, pretty good. And I love me some Overcrush, if you don't know.
Well, that would be a good card to think about building around.
So I don't think anybody else is Overcrush. Oh, we have another Overcrusher. Sabretooth.
Okay. Sabretooth, Terrible Transcendent Joy.
Yeah. Stats 3-3, 4-4, 5-4, sorry. Not great. If you go with him, he's 1 cost less. You may need some help to buff him up. Mm-hmm. Which I think some of these cards do, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The other thing I saw when you were scrolling through is there's a Magneto that gives all of your Brotherhood character dice infiltrate.
And where's Magneto? Magneto, you said?
Yeah, the House of M.
Oh, yes, we go. 6 cost as well. And when he's
Well,
active,
villains are not cheap.
no. So if we go for something like a 6 cost, then that's when I'm going to have to start to look at some basic actions. What is going to give me a lot and can turn my bag as well? I have one in mind. I can't remember if it's Marvel Universe.
Well, look it up.
I think it is. I have to uncheck the affiliations or else you will not be able to type this in. And Jocelyn can see what I'm typing.
Ah, yes, you do have an investigation that is a Marvel.
Yes,
It's
so
from the Mighty Thor.
Yep. One way you can get only Marvel stuff is there is a button there as well that you can just click Marvel and it'll just bring up all your Marvel.
Oh yeah, and then Infinity Gauntlet has an investigation as well.
So that one might be one probably a first purchase buy and hopefully can turn and you can roll to get to 6.
I liked the Thor one better because I liked the Howard the Duck on it. like the Jessica Jones
That's
one
true.
from Infinity Gauntlet is beautiful. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but I have a soft spot for that Howard the Duck art that apparently has Spider-Man in the background. Did you know that?
I did not.
I heard about that on Trivia Stream.
Ah. Poor Spidey. So another thing you can think about too, which you have to look through the cards, is maybe one of these cards helps cost. Now what was the lady that's fielding cost actually? What was she? A 1, 2, 2.
That's not so bad, especially on that level 3 where she's a 7.
Magneto is a 1, 2, 3. So that will probably take you that one turn just to field him if you get him on his top level. Hoping
You'd need a lot of ramp.
Yeah. I'm looking through and I do not see anything that...
You could always hope that your opponent decided to play X-Men and brought Professor X.
Yep.
Because Professor X Trainer has the global that you pay a mask and you can move up to 2 psychic dice from your use pile to your prep area and it's unlimited. I always like to build teams that depend on my opponent bringing me things to make it work.
Okay, so I'm going to start building here. I think you sold me on this one. I'm going to pick Lady Deathstrike.
Bad to the bone.
Yeah. So I'm on the search tab right now, which won't let me actually add cards to build a team. So I have to click on Edit Team to start building a team.
Yeah, but you can still do all the same filtering that you've done.
You can still do all the filtering. I can even click on it and it'll still keep all my filters. So I'm going to go down to Lady Deathstrike and pick the Overcrush one. Okay.
Yay.
So I think she's going to be my
cost.
main. Yeah, she's a 6 cost. She's going to be probably my main win condition, I would say, because she has Overcrush. So now I'm going to start to look for something a little bit cheaper. I probably don't want too much 6 cost and 5 cost on my team if she's going to be my focus. And I'll maybe look for things that might pump up her.
Yeah, or maybe like low-cost fist characters that might help you, like if you rolled them on double energy, but also could be handy if you rolled them on character faces.
Yep, so I'm looking here. Juggernaut. No, he gains +2. That one, all apparent. Okay, no. Magneto 5 cost, your character dice gets +1/+1 for each different active X-Men character. So that won't really work in an affiliated because you don't know what your other opponent's going to have, right? Because it's each different active X-Men character, so...
What about your favorite Mystique here, Kim?
I'm looking.
She's called, what is she? Oh Bitter Victory?
So Mystique gets +1/+1 for each other die in the field zone. So that's one of my favorite cards. I've used her a lot in my tournament games. But she gains it. So she's going to gain on both sides of the field zone. And she's going to get +1/+1.
Yeah, or you could look at the other one, Mystique Brotherhood of Her Own. She costs 1 less. but she gets +2 and +2A and +2D for each different active non-Mystique Brotherhood character. And all of your characters can be Brotherhoods, but that would be different active. So if you had like, you're never going to have it, but like, if you had 2 Lady Death Strikes in the field, that would only count as 1.
Yeah. So she could be a good one to get out, just to have there sitting. And if anybody attacks, you can just kind of block with her. You can attack with her, because she can get up there, especially if there's lots of characters in the field zone. Mm-hmm. Now, thinking about affiliations teams, I'm not sure how many characters people would field with affiliated teams.
I have a feeling that there's going to be some wide fields.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. She also has a deadly one, which is a 3 cost. So any maybe ones that are attacking and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna block with her and she'll just KO them.
I think there was another deadly. If you go up alphabetically here, Kim. Mm-hmm. Was there another deadly there? Oh no, I was looking at fast. I was looking at Black Tom Cassidy, because he's got fast and he also has call out. So that's handy. Because fast allows you, so characters with fast deal combat damage before characters without fast. Mm-hmm. So you could potentially KO your opponent's die without losing Black Tom Cassidy. And then call out means that if you call out an opposing character, only that character die can block Black Tom Cassidy. Nobody else can. So it's good removal if something's in your way. Especially because he's fast. It's kind of a cool combination.
Yeah. And there's a lot of corrupts in here, too. There's a few with corrupts.
Mm-hmm. And what does corrupt do, Kim?
So corrupt is can happen if the character that has corrupt either blocks or attacks, or even if it gets KO'd. They will say a corrupt and a number. So corrupt 2, corrupt 3. I don't think there's any more than a 3. I don't think I've ever seen a corrupt 1. I don't think that exists. So it's either 2 or 3, I believe. So if they have a number after, so in case of one I'm looking at here is Dark Beast, human, experimentation. So when he blocks, he corrupts 2. So what that is the target player, and that can be yourself, or it can be your opponent. It doesn't say just your opponent. Draws 2 dice. They place 1 in the used, and then return the rest to their bag, pretty much. So you could... Technically, if someone has a good character, that probably is in their bag coming. You can corrupt them. They hopefully pull it, and you can put it in your use pile.
Yeah, what's nice about that one is it has an additional effect in addition to the corrupt. So it says if the die you place in the use pile is a sidekick die, you can draw and roll a die. So that kind of gives you some ramp and churn.
And he's a fist, so it could...
And he's a 2 cost.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a few. So let's... Avalanche is not really coming to me here. But I'm definitely going to add Dark Beast. The human...
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah. He can be a first purchase cost too if you want him to sit. Unless we do go with Investigation, which we might have to. Because I don't see any other cards that really would help with cost with the Brotherhoods. Because some cards out there are like... this is active, your Brotherhoods cost 1 less, right? I know Justice League has that, but I don't think Brotherhood does. And now, I would like to put a Mystique. I'm kind of torn if to put the one that she gets +1 for each other in the field zone, or the Deadly one, which is actually a promo card that she has.
Well, I guess what it would come down to, Kim, is what basic actions you decide to play, because... If you played something like Anger Issues, which gives your character die +3A and Overcrush, Mystique might be a handy thing to have. Right. Or even if you put on Under Surveillance. So Under Surveillance's target character die is unblockable. So if you get Mystique all buffed up, and then you can send her through unblocked.
Yep. She might be a good backup because if I can't get to that 6 cost, like it just not happening, I might have to reach for her. But I'll have to make that decision turn 2, turn 3. I cannot get to it.
It's a 45-minute game.
That's true.
You can make that decision 20 minutes in. You can change your mind.
That's true. So I'm gonna go with that. I've used Mystique with Under Surveillance before. I believe Under Surveillance is a Marvel.
It is a Marvel card. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that is an option.
There is a what was it on the list? The special list.
The
achievements list. That's it. If you have 7 cards or less, you get bonus tickets. So I'm gonna build this team with 7 or less.
Nice.
Yeah, I will build. Maybe might even have 7. You never know. So.
Yeah. So if you build your team with 7 or less characters, the achievement is called "Unless we all want to die a very unpleasant death, we're going to have to work together." And it gives you 4 extra draws in the raffle, 4 extra tickets for the raffle for the prizes. And not all the prizes have been announced yet at the time of this recording, but you know what is available for prizing, Kim?
The X-Men cards?
Some of the X-Men animated series cards, but also a set of the gold sidekick dice. And
yes.
The gold sidekick dice have been very hard to come by. They've only been given out at a handful of official WizKids events in 2019. So there was a Canadian Nationals, there was US Nationals, there was Worlds, and then there was the European WizKids Open. So there was only 4 events where you could have got those. So there's lots of people that are looking for those, and they're just available in the raffle. You don't have to win. You just have to show up and play.
Yep.
And you could win them.
Yep. Okay, let's see. What am I up to? I'm up to three cards. We got an Overcrusher, a backup win condition. So before we keep going, I'm going to switch back to Marvel here. Undo and go and type in Under Surveillance. What was the other one you had named? I actually don't think I've ever used that one.
Anger Issues.
Is that 4 cost though?
Yeah,
4 cost.
Yeah, it's a 4 cost.
Yeah, so we will go with Under Surveillance.
But the nice thing about Anger Issues, Kim, is it has a global on it.
Yes, which pumps.
No, the Anger Issues has a fist buff.
Was it a fist? Let's see.
I'm fairly certain Anger Issues.
Yes.
Pay fist, target character guy gets +1A until end of turn.
What I'm also going to do here, I'm going to click on type, and I'm going to hit basic actions, which only gives me all the basic actions for Marvel. I'm just going to type in here in the filter, Overcrush. I just want to see what else is out there. I don't remember all of them, because Golden, I don't know much of the Golden stuff.
If you're looking for Overcrush, Hulk Out is a good one.
Yeah, Hulk Out's 2 cost. 1 card character gains Overcrush. It also gets +1 if you land on an asterisk. So pretty cheaper.
Yep.
Doesn't get the additional 3A as Anger Issues.
I know it's a 4 cost, but I am quite partial to Power Surge. Each of your active character dice get +1A and +1D. If you roll it on a double burst phase, 2 of your target character dice gain Overcrush, and it has a Bolt global that gives the target character die +1A.
Now, I would lean to Power Surge depending on what other cards I pick that have a beefy stats.
You know what the other thing that is available here, Kim, as we're looking at this, and might be handy, is playing Upgrade Proto Cannon. Because target character die gains Overcrush, KO that character die at the end of the turn if it isn't a fist character die. Your win condition with Lady Deathstrike is a fist. So she wouldn't get KO'd. So if you continue on that fist theme, now I know Mystique is not a fist, she's a mask.
She's a mask, yeah.
But the fist would mean that could potentially be more beneficial to you than it would be to your opponent, because it's only a 2 cost, right?
Yes. So let me read that. KO that character die at the end of the turn if it isn't a fist character die.
So essentially what would happen, the way I think this works, if we think back to the rule book, it's at the end of turn. So if the character die is blocked and not KO'd, the overcrush damage goes through. It goes back to your field, and then you do end of turn effects, which means then it gets KO'd, and you have to roll it next turn.
Which might actually be good for Mystique, because if she goes... Well, yeah, then you gotta roll her back, though, if she gets KO'd.
Yeah, and she has some nasty fielding costs on level 3.
Yeah.
But if you were really going all in on Lady Deathstrike, then... upgrade prototype cannon might be the way to go. But I guess she doesn't need overcrush because she already has it.
Yeah, she just needs like a buff. We have to go with like anger issues, or power surge might be good because it kind of does double.
I do like the idea of power surge.
And it has a bolt, which if I have bolts sitting, because if I build a team that doesn't really have a bolt character on it, because I don't think there's much bolt on the Brotherhood.
There's a few.
Yeah, it could be hanging around energy that I could use.
So we could just go back to the under surveillance, which gives you the unblockable Mystique.
Yeah, which is also 3 cost. Under surveillance, yeah. No buff though here, but she can get pretty high if there's a lot in the field zone. And she's considered to be level 1, so she's already a 1-1 on level 1, a 1-1 on level 2, and a 1-1 on level 3, so it really doesn't matter what level she's on.
That's right.
She just needs to get the buff from characters in the field zone.
So I'm thinking under surveillance is probably your better choice, Kim.
So I'm going to add that. And for ramp, investigation, any thoughts?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be investigation.
And she wants me to use the Thor one, so we'll click on that because of the picture.
You can use whichever one you want.
Or do you want to use this one?
See, look at Howard the Duck.
Yeah, it's Howard the Duck. Oh, no, he went down here. And then the other one, which I can't seem to click on. Oh, there we go.
You'd have to remove the other one, I think. See, that's Jessica Jones. She's pretty.
I don't see Spider-Man. Am I missing this? Where's...
No, on Howard the Duck.
Oh, Howard the Duck. Oh, yes.
See, he's in the window.
Yeah. So we'll leave that. So let's go back. So I'm going to uncheck basic actions. Go back and check Brotherhood.
So now you said you don't want to have more than 7 cards in your team?
So right now I'm at 3.
So is there anything else that would be handy if it was unblockable? Or anything that would give you benefit for using basic actions?
Yes.
Is there any attune? I don't see any attune.
Awaken. This Scarlet. She's awaken. Awaken is when they spin up or spin down, which unfortunately I would have to take off basic action to do that, right?
Only when they spin up.
Yeah. So I don't have anything that spins up anything.
Go back up to your team, Kim. I think you have something with a global on it. Oh, it spins something down.
Yeah.
Under surveillance says pay 2 masks, spin target character die down 1 level. So that would not help you.
No, because then it says roll a Brotherhood character die in your use pile. If it rolls a character face, you may field it for free.
Yeah, I got really excited about Magneto the Brotherhood, which is a promo card. It says, when fielded, you may field a Brotherhood of Evil Mutants die from your use pile at level 3 for free, except he's a 7 cost, so that's really not beneficial.
I would need like 2 investigations and all to roll all on the same turn. Everything to come out on the same turn. Like Sabretooth, oh sorry, not Sabretooth, where was it? Yeah, Sabretooth, he, when fielded, spins up all your character dice, but he's a 4 cost, and I have to buy him to spin her up, so...
So maybe we should look at some Bolt characters now, Kim, because you put that power surge on, right? Oh no, we went with
no, we went with under surveillance.
Okay.
What's her actually uncommon? What's her uncommon do? When you roll a character die, you may spin it up or down a level before it going to reserve pool.
That actually might be handy because your Mystique has a 2 fielding cost on level 3, but it doesn't make a difference for you from an attack stat what level she's on.
That's right. That's a 4 cost to get to.
And details.
Quicksilver's Impulse, which...
Someone would have to rule on that.
Why?
So this is the card that everyone talks about, Quicksilver Terragenesis. So it says, Impulse, you may pay a bolt. If you do, during your next main step, field Quicksilver for free on his level 1 side, regardless of his location. Well, how do you know which Quicksilver? And, like, what if you buy 2? And what if one's in your bag and one's in your use pile? How do you pick? Like, it's kind of a weird thing.
I think it has to be in your use pile.
It doesn't say that.
But
it says regardless. It says regardless of his location.
Oh.
What if he's in your prep area? What if you pull him from your bag and you roll him, and then you field him for free on his level 1 side?
No, because you have to pay the bolt. So when do you
pay the
stuff?
bolt? You pay the bolt when you purchase him.
Yes, so impulse is when you purchase. As soon as you purchase, the impulse ability goes off.
So you pay the bolt.
You pay the bolt at that time. But when in your next main step, and main step is after you've pulled your stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can play in your bag if it comes out, if you rolled it, if it's sitting in your used pile.
It's just a weird timing thing. If you want to play that, I would say reach out to Chris.
I don't know. I was looking at it. There's another corrupt character, Rogue. She's a 4 cost.
I feel like you need some lower cost stuff.
What about Pyro? Pyro, Bonfire of Vanity. 4 bolt. When he's active, if you roll 2 or more bolts during your roll and reroll step, deal damage to target opponent. Deal 2 damage to target opponent. Also,
I like direct damage.
If you roll 2 more bolts, maybe that's where we change the basic action, because now we have 2 bolts sitting.
So what other bolts do you have available to you? You've got Quicksilver. Mm-hmm. You've got Scarlet Witch.
Sorry. No.
And you've got Black Tom Cassidy.
Yeah.
So not a lot of bolts. Certainly not cheap bolts.
No. Oh yeah, but he has to be active for that to happen.
Who has to be active for what to happen?
Pyro. But if I go with that and he is active, then I would change my basic action to the one that had the global that uses bolts, because then I have 2 sitting there.
Yeah, Power Surge. You picked a challenging affiliation here, Kim.
Yeah, there's a few ways you can go with the team, I think. If you pick one direction or another direction. They don't really mix together now going through this, but they each individually have their own thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I definitely know what one you should not put on your team.
And what's that?
Rare Avalanche, Quake in your boots.
No.
Because he says, while Avalanche is active, when a villain character die is fielded, deal 1 damage to all opposing character dice. And that's not cool because villains are not allowed.
His uncommon is not bad. When he's active, when you use a basic action die, which would be under surveillance or investigation, I KO a target level 1 character.
I like that. Put that on the team, Kim.
Because I can get rid of anything that lands on level 1.
Or a sidekick. A sidekick is level 1 character die.
Maybe I want sidekicks for Overcrush though, but...
Yeah, but it's target, so it could be your opponents.
That's right, true.
And it does give you an advantage for using a basic action.
Mm-hmm. Which I intend to use both my basic actions. Okay. And...
I still think we should look at this Black Tom Cassidy. Kim.
Okay. He can get KO'd easily. He's a 3-1, 4-1, 5-2. But he's going to go first for combat damage.
Yeah. And his fielding costs are good. He's a 0-1-1, and he's got fast and call out. So I know you don't want a ton of control. You don't want blobs and Scarlet Witches. But call out's not that bad.
No, I mean, if I see something that's also like, oh, but Tom Cassidy could KO it because it's going to go first, and I can call it out. And call out is when this character die attacks. Target character die is the only character die that may block this character die.
That's right.
Okay, so...
And so that means that said character die can't block anything else. However, it could choose not to block it. So your opponent could choose to leave Black Tom Cassidy unblocked. But with those attack stats, they might not want to do that.
So we're at 5 cards now. I don't see anything that might benefit me. Toad is a control card. He is, when fielded, name an affiliation, replacing all previous choices, while Toad is active character definition, must attack each turn. Interesting.
That's an interesting control card. And that is not banned, and that was specifically asked about on the Discord, and they gave the okay on it.
So do we want things attacking?
Maybe your Mystique might be able to KO stuff. But with that said, if your purpose is to get your Mystique big and send it through unblocked, you probably don't want your opponent's field empty. You want lots of characters out there, right?
Yeah. I even look at the blob, and you don't want to really capturing their sidekicks because you need that to buff up. Yeah. Mystique.
What about this Sabertooth, Kim?
Which one?
The one that says Overcrush, and he gets +1A if you have another active Brotherhood die.
Yeah, backup. He's a 3/3/4/4/5/4.
Or you could go, because he's a 5 cost, you could go with Bloodlust. When Sabertooth attacks, spin all other attacking character dice of 1 level.
So that could help with Lady, if she's on like a level 1.
1 or 2.
Well, Mystique, it won't matter.
Or you know what else that would do? It would potentially trigger Awaken on your dice.
Yeah.
We haven't looked at any of the Awaken dice because you didn't think you had a way to spin them. But Sabertooth attacking would spin them, so it's when attacks, which means that they would all spin. That would trigger Awaken before your opponent blocks.
Okay, so let's look at some Awakened characters here.
That's a completely different tactic to take with this team.
Juggernaut. See, as I said, it's one of those like they go, but they're individually as well. They kind of. So Juggernaut's a 6 cost. I really don't know, but let's read it anyways. So Juggernaut says, KO target psychic die, remove target psychic die from your opponent's prep area to their used.
Yeah. For a 6 cost?
Pyro. Deal 1 damage to target opponent for each bolt in your reserve pool. Then I have to roll bolts. Quicksilver. Field your next character die for free.
That wouldn't help when you're in your attack step.
And
you're not fielding
Scarlet
in your attack step.
Witch, which we talked about this one. Roll a Brotherhood character die in your use pile. If you roll a character face, you may field it for free. Otherwise, return it to the use pile. That won't help when you're attacking because it won't be attacking.
No, but it would give you a blocker for next turn, potentially.
Potentially.
I'd say of all the Awakens that you just went over, that's probably the best win.
Yeah.
So how many cards are you at, Kim?
I'm at 5.
I say you put that Sabertooth on, and that Awaken was that Scarlet Witch.
Because, yeah, nothing else. Mastermind we didn't look at. Mastermind has affiliate, I was going to say. Infiltrate. So when a character die is unblocked, you may return it to the zone to deal 1 damage. Or
I like the one above that.
Jason Wingard.
Jason Wingard, yep.
Before declaring blockers, you may roll one of your active Mastermind dice. If it shows an energy face, KO it. Otherwise, remove X attacking character dice from the attack zone where X is the roll dice level. Before declaring blockers, you may... So does he have the active for this to happen?
Yes.
You may roll
because
one
he has
of
to
your
be active.
characters. So I can have him in the field. My opponent
Your opponent declares an attacks.
Before I do blockers, I can even roll him. Can I roll him? Yeah.
You can roll him. Yep. And if he gets an energy phase, he gets KO'd. Otherwise, you remove so many attacking character dice. So 1, 2, or 3. Which means they just go back to the field zone, right?
Remove X attacking character dice from the attack zone where X is its rolled dice level. Ah, so if I roll my 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
That's an interesting card.
It would be fun.
Be different. I've never tried that tactic.
It's a 4-cost shield. And you don't have any other shields on your team.
No, I don't. Juggernaut, but he's too expensive. Blah, but that won't benefit Mystique in any way. Because it's about capturing. I'm gonna go with Mastermind Jason. And for my last card, you know what? I think I'll go with the Pyro. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to change the basic action then. Because if I end up buying him and I end up rolling bolts and I can't do nothing with it.
Well, you could use them to field things.
Yeah, but if I have him extras, I could use it to pump. Let's go back to the basic actions.
Okay.
Let's see what we had for Overcrush, right? How does under surveillance not show? Oh, it's considered to be unblockable, right? Okay. I thought I said Overcrush for some reason. So we have 2 bolts, Power Surge and Raise Shields. Globals that pumps.
Yeah, what I like about Power Surge is it gives all of your character dice plus 1A and plus 1D, whereas Raise Shields only gives 2 character dice plus 1A and plus 1D. And then with Raise...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, but with Power Surge, you have to have a double energy... Sorry, you have to roll double asterisk to give Overcrush.
Yeah. With Raise Shields, it's any burst phase gives you Overcrush. But it's only the same 2 characters you give plus 1A and plus 1D. So your opponent can focus their blocking.
So the question is here is... If you roll bolts, do you want it to use it to give buff? Or if you're going with Mystique, do you want to give her Overcrush or Unblockable? Which I would say go with Unblockable, because if she's quite high, they're going to probably double or triple block.
If she's got Overcrush, yeah. Which is going to move things out of your opponent's field.
If for some reason she's going in with, and I've done it with her at like 15 to 17.
Yes, you have.
You don't want probably them now you only getting 7 out of that with Overcrush.
Do you think we're going to see a lot of static field, Kim?
Maybe, maybe not.
So static field says target attacking character die is no longer attacking. So it takes it out of the attack zone and puts it back to the field zone. No. And static field has... I don't know if it has a Marvel version. It definitely has the DC version. It has a Warhammer version.
So someone will have to bring a DC team. Which is quite capable.
But Distraction, right? Wasn't that the first one? Distraction, and that had the global on it, and that's Marvel. Plus there's also the Kate Bishop, the promo Kate Bishop that has the global on it. I don't know that anyone would play that though, because although she's an Avenger, her ability is target villain character die takes 3 damage. And if villains are not permitted in the format, it doesn't make sense to run Kate Bishop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing pretty green. I mean, if someone brings that, then I'll just be like... I'm just forcing them to roll masks.
Well, I think you've got a team, Kim. You've
Yep.
got an overcrush way to go. You've got an unblockable way to go. You've got some cheap fists that will let you corrupt, which means it could help you churn through your own bag or potentially churn through your opponent's bag to mess them up. So you do have a little bit of control. And yeah, I think you've got a pretty decent team there. I think it's worth playing.
We should definitely try it out. All right, so I'm going to save this. If you go under View Team, you can save your team link. Brotherhood, let's spell it.
And you'll send me the link, Kim, so I can put this in the show notes.
Yes. I didn't put any dice to it, but that's
fine.
That's fine. All right, so let's clear that team. And Jocelyn, what did you pick for your affiliation?
Well, I picked Black Order.
Dun, dun, dun.
So why did I pick Black Order?
Why did you pick Black Order?
Because it's modern.
And if we all know this, Jocelyn does not like golden.
You know what? I am not averse to golden. I just don't like building from the entire... It's overwhelming to look at how many cards there are. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I want to play with new cards I haven't played with yet. And Black Order only exists in one set, which is called Infinity Gauntlet. And there are only 22 cards in the entire thing, so I can also probably build a team that has less than 7 or less cards. So yeah, and I like Marvel. So I like this. So let's take a look here. So
7 characters all together at 22 cards.
Yeah. So
there you go.
I like the
checked.
character Black Dwarf.
Okay.
Not just because it's the alphabetical first one, but because I think all 3 of the Black Dwarfs are good, but 2 of them in particular are good. So the common Black Dwarf Powerhouse is a 5-cost fist, and he reads, when fielded, replace target character die's printed A with double its printed A on all faces until end of turn. So that's pretty cool. You can double a card's A. Mm-hmm. I also like the rare Giant Axe because when fielded, target non-Black Dwarf character die gets +2A and gains Overcrush, but it also has the only sidekick fixing global in Infinity Gauntlet, which is pay 0. Once per turn on your turn, spin any of your sidekick dice in the field or reserve pool to its fist base.
2 good cards. So you can either pick a Overcrush heavy person to do your double A.
Yeah, so the drawback to the Black Dwarf Giant Axe is that you can't give the +2A and Overcrush to another Black Dwarf die. It has to be a non-Black Dwarf character die. But that's okay. Let's go with that one. Let's go with the rare Black Dwarf Giant Axe. We're going to start there.
Okay. Check.
So we have a Fist Fixer, and we have something that's going to give +2A and Overcrush when fielded. And his stats, he's like a 2, I think, on his defense all across the board.
Yep.
If you click on him there, Kim.
He's 1/2/2.
Yeah, so he's potentially easy to KO.
But his fielding cost is amazing.
0/1/0. I love it. I love it. It's so fun. Okay.
But you want to KO him because he's a when fielded, so...
Yeah.
Oh, you want to get him.
So, let's see here. Mm-hmm. So that's Black Dwarf. So now, what do we have that's cheap, that has good stats, that would be advantageous to give it +2A and Overcrush? So, there's the 2-cost Corvus Glaive. It's blank. And what are its costs? What are its dice sides, Kim?
So it's a 0/2/1, a 1/3/2, and a 0/3/1. What's it for the 0/1/0?
I love it. I love it.
So you get highest you can get there is 5.
Stats are a little low. Mm-hmm. So let's see what else we have.
What about Black Swan?
Well, I like Black Swan. So I would say the common is probably not a good one to go with because the common, the Black Swan, the Cabal, says while she's active, if you use an energize ability, gain 1 life. There's only 1 energize in this affiliation, and it's an 8-cost Thanos. And if I buy an 8-cost Thanos, I don't want to energize it. I want to field the damn thing. So that I wouldn't go with. I'd probably go with the uncommon, which is a 5-cost bolt, and on the burst face, which is level 2 and 3, I believe, she has Overcrush. That's Black Swan, Our Lady of the Apocalypse, and her stats are good too. She's a 144, 155, 166.
Yeah, and she's got the burst on her level 2 and 3 side.
Yeah. And if she doesn't have the burst because she's on level 1, I can give her Overcrush with the Black Dwarf. Mm-hmm. I can't give her double Overcrush, but I can still give her the +2 with the Black Dwarf. So let's go with that. Let's put Black Swan, Our Lady of the Apocalypse on the team.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got 2 5-costs. So we've got a fist and a bolt. So I'm thinking we might want to go with the Ebony Maw here because you've got the common is a 4-cost mask. When fielded, deal 2 damage to target character die. If the die is KO'd by this damage, the next character die you purchase costs 1 less.
Okay.
That could be handy. You've got the common Proxima Midnight. Now she's a 3-cost. When fielded, KO a target character die. KO a character die you control. If you do, the next die you purchase costs 2 less.
Now you also have the uncommon Ebony too, that when fielded, draw and roll it. Oh no, that's not a cost one. It's draw and roll a die.
Yeah.
I thought it was draw and prep a die for some reason.
I'm thinking that the Proxima Midnight is probably the better go than the Ebony Maw here because it's a 3-cost instead of a 4-cost, and it reduces the cost by 2.
And you can KO her, so you can keep your costs going.
That's right. I could KO her.
Mm-hmm.
It just says KO a character die you control, so I can KO herself.
Yep.
And I can just keep cycling her.
Yep.
So let's go with Proxima Midnight, the Black Order.
Good choice. I use her a lot for cost reductions.
Okay, so we've got 3 cards here. So I've reduced the cost of things.
Are you going to stretch for a Thanos?
Well, there's 4 Thani available. The plural of Thanos is Thani. I've decided such. So the common says that he costs 2 less to purchase when you have 10 or less life. So that's a 7-cost mask. If I have 10 or less life, he's a 5. And then other things could reduce him down to minimum 1. Don't think it's worth it. 7-cost Thanos uncommon, overpowering strength. When Thanos KOs an opposing die, place it in the use pile instead of the prep area. Well, that's pretty handy because Thanos's fielding costs, his attacks are 5, 7, 9. Is that right?
Yeah, 5, 7, 7, 8, 9, 9.
Yes, he's probably going to KO pretty well anything, and it's going to throw it to the use pile, which is super annoying. But again, he's a 7-cost mask.
Yeah.
Then you've got Thanos, Enemy of Life, which is the rare. He's an 8-cost mask. Energize. Target character die gets +4A. Thanos costs 2 less to purchase, minimum 1, while your opponent has 20 life. So that means at the beginning of the game, he's a 6-cost. And then if I could reduce him by 2 more by a 4-cost with Proxima.
Yeah.
But then there is the super rare. So super rare is a 7-cost mask with Overcrush, which Overcrush is awesome on these stats. Now, once per turn, when you field the Black Order character die, you may KO target character die you control. If you do, Thanos costs 2 less, minimum 1. I kind of feel like that's the dude, man.
So he doesn't have to be active for that ability?
No.
So when you KO Proxima, it pretty much does it.
I field a Black Order character. Well, that we'd have to talk about the order here. So Proxima says, when fielded, KO a character die you control. If you do, the next die you purchase this turn costs 2 less. Mm-hmm. Thanos Preparing the Way says, once per turn, when you field a Black Order character die, you may KO target character die you control. If you do, Thanos costs 2 less, minimum 1. So I feel like I know I can choose the order of the effects. So if I field Proxima and I KO her, I'm going to reduce something by 2.
But you're using Thanos' ability to KO her, not her own?
No, I would be using her own ability. But then I could also KO something else.
Yes,
like a sidekick. And then Thanos would cost 4 less, which means Thanos would only cost 3.
Yeah, because you can't use her effect, because if you KO her, she's not in your control anymore.
No, but I fielded her.
Yeah.
So that effect goes into the queue. I might have to get a ruling on this, but I think it would work. So we're going to go with the super rare Thanos here.
Yep. And just hopefully you have a sidekick when you do all this.
Oh, I'm sure we can find a way to make that happen. Okay, so I have 4 now. So let's see what's left. I have Supergiant as an option left. So Supergiant has 2 cards that have Regenerate. All 3 of her have Regenerate.
Yeah.
When fielded, you may use a copy of target character die's when fielded ability. So target character die means that die has to be active. So that would be something that I could coordinate with our good old friend Black Dwarf. Because Black Dwarf has a when fielded ability. Target non-Black Dwarf character die gets plus 2A in Overcrush. So that might be handy. I would say that's probably better than her common, which is just a 3 cost with Regenerate. Or her uncommon, which says when fielded, take control of target character die until end of turn.
I've used the uncommon. Now, what might work too with the uncommon is if you do, and your opponent has something beefily nice looking in their field, you can take it and use Black Dwarf on it if you roll at the same turn. And they can't block with it because you've taken control of it.
Yeah, but it's a 5 cost.
Yeah, I mean, Proxima's going to have to help you to get it to a 3, but...
So, I mean, the common with just the plain old Regenerate is a 3 cost, and her stats are good. On her level 3, she's a 5/5 with only a 1 fielding cost. But I think we should go with the rare, because I like using the copy of the when fielded. So let's go with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I have not put on a Corvus Glaive or an Ebony Maw. Those are the last 2 options I have. So looking at the Ebony Maws, we don't want the common. We already said that, because we're already getting a cost reduction from the Proxima Midnight. And the rare says reroll target opposing character die when fielded. Your character dice costs 2 less to purchase this turn. And then it has a villain affiliation maker, which doesn't do me any good. So I'm looking at the uncommon. When fielded, draw and roll a die.
Okay.
It's a 4-cost mask. Let's go there, because that's also something I could use with the Supergiant. And it would help me churn my bag. And give me ramp.
Corvus.
So Corvus Glaive has the 2-cost Fist Blank. We've got when fielded, you may deal 1 damage to target character die. Your opponent may deal 1 damage to target sidekick. Or you have the rare, when fielded, you may move When fielded, you may move a non-sidekick die from your use pile to its card. If you do, deal 2 damage to target character die or player. That could be a nice backup win con.
When fielded, you move a non-psychic die from your use pile to its card. Oh, I actually never read that card. That's a neat card.
So let's go with that one, Kim.
Okay. If you need to do that last 2 damage, you never know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I now have a 7-card team, and I need some basic actions. So let's take a look here. So we've got a couple of when fielded effects. Actually, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 when fielded effects. We've got a die, 2 dice with Overcrush, 1 that gives something Overcrush and +2 attack, and then something with Regenerate. I have a way to remove my dice because with Proxima, when fielded, I may KO a character die I control, which could be Proxima or it could be something else.
Too bad there's no Orbital Strike.
Orbital Strike is from Warhammer.
I know.
Okay, so 117 basic actions. Can we filter that by modern?
I forgot. There we go, modern. You're at the 37.
Yay! Okay. So, let me see my energy takes, Kim. I have... What do I have in my team here? I've got fists for sure.
Mm-hmm. You have 1 of each.
I got 2 fists. I got a bolt, 2 shields, and 2 masks. Okay. So, let's sort these by cost, Kim. I want to see the lowest cost ones. We are not playing pizza. That has worked against me too many times. Pizza says gain 1 life. You may not use this basic action die if you have 15 or more life, and it has a global. Pay a shield. Once during your turn, if you have less than 10 life, gain a life. Not happening. Not putting that in my opponent's hand. Confront the Mighty is a card that always confuses me, but again is very, very beneficial to anyone. So basically what it does is it gives your character die the same attack as your opponent's defense, and then they deal their attack to each other. So you may KO your thing, but you also KO their thing. So again, very easy for your opponent to do something. I am thinking about Counter-Strike here, Kim.
That's always a good one.
Because with Counter-Strike, it's a 2 cost, and it says choose an affiliation, prep 1 die of that affiliation from your use pile, move all other dice of that affiliation from your use pile to your bag. So seeing as I have a Black Order team, that could help me. And then also I can pay 1 generic once during your turn, prep a sidekick die from your use pile. So that would give me a little bit more prep, which might help me out there. So let's tentatively add Counter-Strike from Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet, right.
Yeah. Because it's also an X-Men Forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so... I'm looking...
Look at this one. I never actually read it. Choose an affiliation. Character dice of that affiliation are free to field at the end of the turn. If you did not fill any characters this turn, prep a die from your bag.
Most of my fielding costs are not bad.
No, you got pretty good fielding costs.
I feel like that could be more advantageous to my opponent. I mean, Counter-Strike could be as well, but...
Yeah, considering that we're playing affiliated teams.
I could play Big Entrance. So Big Entrance has Impulse. You may add this die to your bag. Dice purchased this turn cost 1 less than their printed cost and gain Impulse. You may add this die to your bag. So that could be handy to help with cost reductions. But sometimes it's kind of a pain as well.
Because you don't know when you don't need it anymore.
Mm-hmm. What does... Sorry, I was just looking at... No, that's no good. Let's see.
You can put power surge if you want.
I could. I just feel like these are getting too expensive. We're into like the 4 costs now. I was looking at Blam Blam Blam. That sounds like fun.
That one sounds
It
fun.
says deal X damage to all opposing character dice where X is the lowest D value among all active character dice. All active opposing character dice. If no opposing character dice are KO'd by this effect, prep this die. So you can just keep cycling it. But again, I don't know that a 4-cost basic action is where I want to be. What's the most expensive one, Kim? Just out of curiosity.
4 is what it goes to.
They're all 4 costs? Okay. Alright, so let's go back up to the cheap ones. We already put Counter-Strike on. That's going to give me a little bit of ramp. Although Confront the Mighty would give me some removal. I think it's too expensive. Kind of like dual defense. So dual defense is a 2-cost. It says choose 2 of your character dice. If either of those character dice block, the other must block as well. These character dice cannot be KO'd while blocking. These effects last until the beginning of your next turn, and on a double burst, they also cannot be targeted until the beginning of your next turn. Not sold.
Are you concerned about global abilities on your turn? Like, your opponents using global abilities on you? Okay, so in the first
I'm just going to play
broadcast
fun.
Retribution.
What about Retribution? I was just thinking that. Deal 2 damage to target opposing character die. The controller of that character die may deal 2 damage to target character die you control. Pay a fist. Target opposing character die can't block this turn unless its controller plays 1 life. They pay when declaring blockers. And that is not limited to once per turn, so I could pay fists. Do I have cheap fists? I think I have cheap fists.
3 cost.
It's not that bad.
How about True Believer?
True Believer. Target character gets plus 2A and plus 1D. And then pay double mask. Once during your turn, you may remove one of your characters from the field zone until end of turn.
So you could give your Overcrushers some extra plus.
What's interesting there is this is target character, not target character die.
So if you have multiple, let's say, black swans, it's all of them. Not that one specific die. I actually never read that to say character.
Based on the way it reads.
Let's just make sure that the card says that. Yep.
There also is... sorry, Kim, you're moving the thing. Way Out West. Put target character die from opponent's prep area into their use pile. So if they have something in their prep area that I don't want to see, I can shove it over to their use pile.
The only thing with that one, though, is got to be a good timing.
Well, I think I'm leaning towards Retribution.
Okay.
Because I haven't played with it. It's from Infinity Gauntlet, and if I did that, that means my entire team would be from Infinity Gauntlet.
Look at that.
Because I'm playing Counter-Strike and Black Order, and then that would give me that. And some of my stuff has low defense, but that's okay because I want to cycle it.
Because they're all one-fielded abilities.
And I don't really have a lot of stuff that one cycles it. Do I have anything in there that would let me KO stuff in the basic actions?
In the basic actions? Let's see. So if I filter text by KO, you got a cute couple things. They're not... They're kind of 2, 3, 4 costs. Wall up, 4 cost. Too big to fly. KO's 5 at 8 or greater.
It does give the buff, though. Pay, fist, target character die gets plus 1A.
Blam, blam, blam.
Yeah, but that's about opposing character dice getting KO'd.
Yeah.
Let's go with Retribution.
All right. Sold. It's being saved.
So I've got two cost basic actions. That'll help some people with that achievement. The achievement is those toys. Where does he get those wonderful toys? Which is buy all 6 of your opponent's basic actions, gives you an extra raffle ticket. Okay, so this is my Black Order team.
Watch everybody bring like 4 or more.
Will it work? Probably not. Does it matter? Not really.
And there we have it, folks. 2 teams built.
2 teams built for Dice Masters versus Cancer, which will be this coming Saturday, November 28th at 6 p.m. British time. So hopefully we'll see you there.
Indeed.
I may or may not play this Black Order team.
You could always test it out.
Well, I had a couple of ideas for teams, but there's only so much we can do on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you thought of this podcast, if the verbal team building was annoying or fun, if you found this one was better to watch on the video through the YouTube versus listening to it on the podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Did we have anything else to chat about, Kim?
I don't believe so.
Okay, because we didn't get any mailbag this week.
No, we know nothing. Our mailbag is empty.
We feel lonely.
Just a hi would be nice, too.
We accept all feedback, but I would love to hear if you think that I should have a superhero name. So, if you did want to get in touch with us, here's all of the wonderful ways that you can find us. You can find us on our website at dm-north.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Dice Masters North. Our email is at dm-north.com. dm-north.com. Sorry. dpodcast at dm-north.com. That's the one. You can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dice Masters North. On the YouTubes at youtube.com/Dice Masters North. And then you can find Kim on Discord at
Super K.
And you can find me on Discord at jbaumy. And until next time, on a double on dice.